I guess we're waiting for that to. Hey, everybody.
Hey, welcome back to Friday Night Chats with Kelly and Kevin. So we are trying this go live feature on YouTube right now. So we're going to play with the lights a little bit here. Hang on one second. Down. Oh, no.
Right
there we go.
Perfect. I think it's
better.
Much better.
Better. I hope that the volume is working. I've been assured the mic is functional, so I suppose we will find out. Yeah. I see that little thing down there moving slightly.
Yeah, and because look at the line is on the big time side. We're good.
Okay.
They can hear us, I'm sure.
Can you hear me? Okay. Well, if not, we'll re-record, I suppose.
Yeah.
Right? We could actually end this and then start again. No?
Let's just keep going.
Okay, so we're working on getting organized here. By the way, I'm Kelly. This is Kevin. And so we are doing Friday Night Chats. And last week we went off just random chatter for 40 minutes. This week I have taken over with the little Post-it notes. So we have segments. We're going to do little segments. So we are going to talk about 23andMe tonight. We're going to talk about the great furniture debacle of 2021. We're talking about that tonight. And we're talking about not throwing away his shot. And then we're going to finish up the night with a question that we just pulled. And we're going to try and do a little discussion question that neither one of us have really talked to each other about it. And then we're going to do some shout outs at the end. So you want to start with the 23andMe?
23andMe, okay. Let's start.
So Kevin gave me, I've been wanting to do this for a while. Kevin gave me 23andMe for my birthday this year. And my family, I've always known, or I guess I should say, I've always been told that we are mostly Irish with some German in there on my dad's side. And I just thought it would be kind of cool to see, what kind of ancestry, what kind of traits are out there. So anyway, I got my results back from 23andMe, and I have found out that I am 100% Northwestern European. So 93.8% Irish and British, which all of the top 10 counties that they could trace my lineage to were all in Ireland, starting with County Cork, which was number 1 on the list.
Yep.
Not a surprise. We knew that. And 6.2% French and German, but they really couldn't trace that anywhere. So I'm assuming that's the German side on my dad's. But the interesting part, because that wasn't a surprise, didn't turn out like Tilly's, where it said she's 75% Chihuahua and 25% just something else. We don't know.
We don't know what.
Which we knew that too. We ought to learn. We pretty much know.
Well, you figure you spend $80 on something that they'd be a little bit more accurate than whatever.
But so some interesting things did come up in the traits. Yeah. And so I have more Neanderthal traits than 55% of the people 23andMe does.
Tilly's digging.
What is this? Every time we come in here and do this, she's got to do that.
She does it.
We have this chair, this upholstered chair in the window, and she jumps up on the chair and she just digs at it for 5 minutes. Tilly, stop it. Sit down. She says, no, wait, mommy. So anyway, getting back to my Neanderthal traits, they were able to trace some of my DNA traits back to Neanderthal things. And the funniest part about it is the first one they traced was a trait that says you have a chance of having poor direction.
Which is true.
A poor sense of direction. A lot. And it's so funny because Kevin and I, we live with my parents and with my brother. And I mean, it's a big house, but still, there's 5 adults living here. So we don't get a lot of just me and him time unless we get in the car and we're just driving around, which is one of the reasons why, he drives me back and forth to work.
Yeah.
So inevitably in the car, I will tell him to make a right or make a left. And it's gotten to the point where I just have to point in the direction I want him to go because
if she points, the pointing is accurate. But if she said, and I'll say it to her. So I said, which way? She'll say left. And I'll say, babe, please point. Because she's almost always wrong if she says it. But when she points, she's always right.
Right. So my gut instinct always tells me the wrong direction.
Yeah.
It's kind of like when I'm plugging in a USB port, like a USB into my computer. I have a 50-50 chance of plugging it in the right way the first time, and it never happens.
Yeah,
I always plug it in upside down first.
Yeah.
And even like just a regular plug, you know how some have like a bigger, one of the prongs is bigger. And so you have to get it in there. Like you have a 50-50 shot. I will always do it wrong on the first try.
Yeah.
And I've even tried to like psych myself and say, oh, I'm getting ready to put it in. I'm going to flip it over and put it in the other way. And it's wrong. So yeah, I have a really, really poor sense of direction, which I always blamed on my dad.
Yeah.
And maybe that's true. Maybe he carries that same Neanderthal trait.
Which is why when he's going somewhere, like he'll go to Google Earth, not just do the map thing where they do the turn here, turn here, turn here. He will go to the Google Earth and look at the surrounding buildings and area because he wants to be able to say, okay, that I've seen.
Yeah, he needs the visual.
Yeah.
Which I'm starting to understand because I've kind of started doing.
Well, and growing
dad.
up in Suffolk, that's what you did. You when you how you get to what you call, oh, it's over there by the Walmart, or it's over there by Planners. You don't get like, oh, it's on this cross street. No, moving out here, they're telling me street names and whatnot, and I'm like, this means nothing to me.
Us crazy folks from Virginia Beach who, we learn where we're going based on the name of the street that it happens to be on.
Yeah.
But,
she also was mad with me because I said that the van that I got from her was brown. And it's not brown. She was adamant about saying that it was champagne color. So, but for me, in my defense, I'm the Crayola 8. And then beyond that, maybe the Crayola 16. And anything beyond that is, I can't grasp it. And this is from somebody who, worked at a printer company for 7 years, and they, that was all about colors. And I'm like, no, I got 16 colors. That's my top.
So we've got our first. It's not a retraction. Is it a retraction?
It's a correction.
A correction. It would be a retraction if we were printing this.
It would be a retraction if I said what I said was.
And you took it back.
I took it back.
Okay.
But I don't take it back. I mean, everything that happened in the van was correct. I was just
you make that sound weird.
I was incorrect about the color of the van. So
okay. So anyway, another one of the Neanderthal traits which did not match my my experience in life is that I am less likely to be afraid of heights. And that's not true. And I didn't ever used to be afraid of heights. I went through a really weird period there for a while.
Mm-hmm.
A succession of things happened that put me on a certain path, and I'm sure we'll talk about it. But anxieties became more prevalent, and we found out in a big way that heights was a real problem when we went on our little trip to Tennessee. And in Tennessee, was it in Chattanooga?
Chattanooga, yeah.
They have this thing called the Incline Railway, and so we were looking for just cool stuff to do in Chattanooga. We had been to the train and all that. And this is a whole nother story. I'm writing it on a Post-it. The time you danced on the riverboat and lost your pants. But we're going to tell that story, but not tonight. You'll have to turn in another time for that one.
Yeah, that was not my finest moment. I mean, it was.
But we go up the Incline Railway, which is like an old subway, like a streetcar.
Yeah.
And they put it on a track that goes straight up the side of this mountain, and you're literally like at this kind of degree.
Like just plus of a 45 degree, and then it goes up to probably maybe 55 degree at some point. I mean, it's steep.
And they take the whole top of the streetcar and replace it with windows. So as you're going up the mountain, you're sitting at like a tilted angle and you're looking out, and it's beautiful.
Yeah.
But all I could think about is if the brakes fail or if the cable snaps. And
now there was a recording that was telling you how safe it was. Like there were 7 redundant systems to prevent that from happening.
People die in theme parks every year.
Yeah. Wow.
But anyway, we got to the top, and there was like a whole. Yeah, true. There was like a whole little village thing up there, and it was like supposedly really nice. And we got to the top of it, and I was like, no, I have to get my ass back in this streetcar and go down the mountain. That's really all I was thinking, is how am I gonna manage to go down the mountain, and not completely lose my composure. So I just want to do it right now and get it over with. Like I can't walk around up here and enjoy everything knowing I'm gonna have to get back in that and go back down. And Kevin was like looking over the edge of the railings at the mountain, and like.
Now I wasn't being an asshole, but not intentionally. It was awesome. It was a fan. If you ever get a chance to go to Tennessee, go.
Yeah, Tennessee's
just
awesome.
go.
It's like my second favorite state.
Yeah.
So anyway, he of course, I am full blown panic attack, which panic attacks were new to me then. I think that might have been my very first panic attack. Yeah. And he was awesome. Okay, we'll just get in and we'll go back down. And so we like walked around. We got right back on the thing, and I'm sitting, and I have my glasses down so nobody can see, and I have my eyes closed, and I'm like breathing, like just trying to calm down.
That's when some asshole, like a true blue asshole, gets
well, in his defense, he didn't realize I was going through this. But this man
he was an asshole because his kid was starting to lose it. His kid is like
the kid wasn't losing
7 years
it. The
old.
kid said, "Hey, Dad, what happens if the brakes fail?"
Yeah, he was worried.
And the dad said, I'll never forget it. The dad said, we go careening down the side of the mountain and we crash into the bottom. And I wanted to slap the ever-loving.
Oh yeah, I was all about whipping that dude's ass.
Yeah, and the odd part about it was, as soon as the thing started moving, all the panic went away. Like we were still up at the top, and as soon as we started moving down toward the bottom, I just like felt it. Oh, and I was actually able to look and see everything, and it was just.
There are pictures actually of this on Facebook, on her Facebook, and I think on mine as well.
No, you'd have to.
You have to look for them. Yeah, I mean, I think there's a folder on hers with the Tennessee trip. Well, no, there was an album.
Okay.
From the Tennessee trip, and the.
If you're Facebook friends with me, you can go see that.
Yeah.
But anyway, that was. I was not like a Neanderthal.
Yeah.
Because apparently Neanderthals aren't afraid of heights, because when do they ever get on incline railways?
Yeah.
They didn't even have those.
They didn't have those then. But
what would the highest thing a Neanderthal would be on, like the top of a cliff or something?
Yeah, mountains, cliffs, trees.
Maybe they just didn't have the brain development to realize they could get hurt if they fell off of it.
Well, I'm sure they did, but they also were conditioned to, like, if you're climbing a mountain, mountain climbers will tell you, make sure 3 points of security, 2 feet in a hand.
I doubt Neanderthals knew that.
No, they probably didn't. They weren't trained or anything, but they knew that if I need to get up this hill, I need to make sure I have good grip as I go up, or I'm going to.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
But anyway, Neanderthals weren't
afraid of heights. But they only lived to be 30 anyway.
I don't know how they know Neanderthals weren't afraid of heights, but maybe because they climbed all up on those things and didn't.
Yeah, I mean, they had to have.
So anyway.
Because there would have been stuff that, animals that would not be inclined to climbing mountains and stuff.
So the 23andMe, I learned some interesting things. I did not do the health portion of it, because most of the things they screen for, I would know already if I had it. And I didn't want to spend an extra $125 on it. But anyway, so I called my sister just to tell her, hey, look, we're actually really Irish, and that's going to pay off on St. Patrick's Day, because I don't have to, I know.
Yeah.
I mean, I just know that's my day.
Yeah.
93.8% of me is going to be all about it.
I have no doubt that there's a bunch of Logans going to be watching this, and you all knew this anyway, and you didn't care what 23andMe says. You're just going to be St. Patty's Day is your day.
Right. And that's true.
I know Michael Logan, your cousin, who's already picked out his corned beef and cabbage. Has already got Guinness on the rocks. Ready to
the
roll.
Irish soda bread is already being made.
Yeah.
I know that for a fact.
Yeah.
But I called my sister to tell her, and then she was like, "Oh, let me log in and see your results, and maybe I should do it. But I don't need to do it because I have yours, and ours should be the same." But then, should they be the same? They should be the same. But now, don't you want to know if they are the same? Like, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Maybe she was adopted, is what I'm trying. Actually, no. I know for a fact she wasn't because I was around when she was born. So, yeah. What am I saying? I don't know what I'm saying. Anyway, 23andMe, that was my adventure. Now, yeah. That was that. And then Kevin. So one of the things we decided to do this week is we have like this love seat from this love seat from Lazy Boy that my parents sit on, and it's just getting hard for them to get up and down out of it.
Yeah.
So Kevin and I bought them each their own like recliners that are better for them.
That lift up.
Yeah.
The lift up chairs.
I ordered it from Wayfair, and the last time I ordered something from Wayfair, it took forever to get it. And they said, "Oh, you should have these by Friday, March 5th." And we got them on Wednesday, March 3rd.
You got that email on like
Saturday when I ordered it. Yeah.
And I was like, great. Then I planned out my week, which I'm not generally somebody that plans out too far ahead, but when they're like,
so true.
There was like stuff I had to do this week. And I thought, okay, well, what I'll do is, the things are coming Friday. Wednesday, I'll do laundry. Thursday, I will prep the love seat to go because, they got their stuff on it, and there was a ring or something that was potentially missing in it that might have been in there. And I'm like, well, I'm going to have to tear it apart anyway. I might as well hunt the ring. And then, we made arrangements with one of the best people we know. We know her best friend from forever, Robin, and her husband, Troy, who's literally, these are the best people. If you know them, I'm right. If you don't know them, you're missing out because these are literally the best people on the planet. But,
so true.
I call him up. He's now retired from the sheriff's department. And, sure, more than willing to help. Glad to do it. Friday sounds great. Got nothing going on. Great. Well, then mother-in-law goes out in the front porch. She likes to
on Wednesday.
Yeah, on Wednesday, which is my, just going to do laundry, cuddle with the pup, relax because it's been a week at work, crazy week at work, But she comes out and she's like, "The chairs are here," and I'm like, "What?
The chairs are here. The chairs are here." I could just imagine it.
Yeah. Well, she wasn't excited actually. She was actually kind of pissed about it.
Yeah. Oh,
and Dad was super pissed about it. But then I had to go into
first of all, hold on. In the middle of this pandemic with mail and deliveries all being bad, to be super pissed that something arrived early.
Like crazy early though. And it messes with your plan.
Well, that's true.
Yeah. Because then I'm like, oh crap, I got to get this thing out and then get the chairs in. Well, first thing to do was get the chairs in because they're still outside out on the front walkway. And so it was like, oh, great. And I love my father-in-law to death. I'm like, he can't help me with these.
No, Mike, they were like 120 pounds.
Yeah. So but I got him in, and he was able to help once I got him, like in certain spots, he was able to help pull him in. And then once we got him in the house, I was able to push him along the floor. So that worked out. Got him into the living room. Then I had to work on getting the other thing prepped. And I texted Troy, and, because he's the best person in the world, he's like, "Sure, I'll be there at 1:00. I'll have my son with me, Ben," because Ben was off that day from school because something to do with his teacher was out, and they were just doing virtual anyway. And he, whatever. He was just doing like HVAC for school, whatever. But he's like, okay, so tear the thing apart, get all the stuff out of it. Couldn't find the ring. My mother-in-law calls Goodwill to find out, if they'll take the furniture. They said, yeah, bring it to the Lynn Haven store and drop it off there. And they have this big drop-off thing behind the Goodwill in Lynn Haven. Been there myself quite a few times. Great. Troy comes. I struggle. Me and him both struggle to get this thing huffed out through the back door, out the backyard, out the big gate, and onto the truck. And Ben's holding we're both holding one end of it, struggling because we're older folks. And then there's Ben on the other end, the little 18-year-old Ben, who's freaking built like Thor. He's just like, here's my pinky holding this thing up. It was kind of.
You're real salty about it.
I'm a little salty about it. It's hard getting old.
I don't know why you're so salty about it.
Yeah, well, it's hard getting old. You folks out there know what I'm talking about. And I told Ben, I said, you can be fat, you can be old, but don't be fat and old because it's not good. Not good. Got to do something about it.
I don't think Ben has that to worry about.
No, he probably doesn't. No. He's built like three of the Chris's from Marvel, crazy. So anyway, loaded up in the truck. He's like, you know what, dude? Because I also had to wait. I was getting my shift bid was that day. And the way they do shift bids at Cox now with the
be careful.
What?
I'm not
gonna
just edit yourself.
Yeah, I know. Is that you do everything through Teams, like Microsoft Teams, and they do it at a certain time. Luckily, I was off that Wednesday, but you got to be there at a certain time. You can't miss it. And we looked. I was like, okay. So I was getting kind of close to the time. Troy's like, no, I got this. We'll take this. Don't worry about it. You stay here and do that. Okay. I get a text from him, and he said Lynn Haven wouldn't take it. They don't take furniture there. I was like, are you kidding me? He says, well, we just took it to the dump, which is what I would have told him to do anyway. But, man.
But it all worked out in the end, and the chairs look great, and Mom and Dad are happy.
And I made out pretty good in the shift bids. I've been working 10-hour shifts, which, after a while, you get 10-hour shifts for the last, 3 years?
I don't know.
It's been like 3 years doing 10-hour shifts, and it wears on you. It does. It wears on you. But I'm back to an 8-hour, 8x5. I have 8 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. with Wednesday, Thursday off, which I think will work out because I can still do dinner with people.
I'm losing my chauffeur back and forth to work though, but that's okay.
Yeah, it'll be all right.
That's okay.
Yeah.
But anyway, new furniture's in. Mom and Dad are happy. Kevin was fit to be tied.
It was a rough day.
Which is always fun.
And then on the way there to pick Kelly up from school, of course, there was damn geese.
That was another thing I wanted to talk about.
Yeah.
You have an unhealthy hatred for Canadian geese.
Yeah, I bet you anyone watching this, I bet you most people, I'd say probably, and you can comment, please comment your feelings on geese, the Canadian geese. But they just get in your way on purpose, just on purpose. They can fly. You see them in the air all the time.
But they're big birds, so if they don't want to go a long distance, like if they just want to cross the street.
They can still fly. It's a courtesy. They have the ability. They should, as a courtesy, fly over the street.
Sometimes it's good just to have something in your way, makes you slow down, take your time, enjoy the nature that's walking in front of you.
No.
Not Kevin. I mean, I'm lucky. We went to Starbucks on the way to work. Not unusual, but we did that this morning. And as we were heading toward my school, a group of Canadian geese had crossed the street, and there was one lagging behind. And he starts cursing. I don't know. We had just turned a corner, and he started cursing at this goose. And how much did it slow you down?
Well,
did you even have to tap on the brake?
I did. I had to, we were probably 3 minutes later than we would have been. But I mean, everybody knows what I'm talking about. I guarantee that the comments are going to be like, yeah, he's right about this. He's 100% right. They're horrible beasts.
They're horrible beasts.
They are. Well, you can't eat them.
No, they're not horrible beasts. Let's not exaggerate.
Anyone had goose? What's that taste like? Probably.
I don't know. I've never had it.
Mm.
So the last little thing that's thrown a wrench into Kevin's week is he got his first COVID vaccine 3 weeks ago Monday. So this coming Monday, which means that he should receive his second vaccine on Monday, the 8th. And my brother got his on the same day as Kevin. And so they got Pfizer. So it's the 3-week waiting period, whatever, in between shots. And my brother comes out and he's like, oh, I got the email and scheduled my second dose. So Kevin goes to check his email. No email. No email, no email, no. It's been a week. No email. Now he's supposed to go Monday to get the second vaccine. And so he called the hotline and he got the answering machine and they said they'd call you back and they did.
Nope.
I mean, didn't. But he finally did get a hold of a person. And so here's what they told him. You might get an email. You might not get an email. We don't know if you will. Just show up there and tell them you're supposed to get your vaccine today.
Well, she said, we've run into this situation before. And I know that one guy went up there and with the card and he was able to get in. So I says, okay, so what you're saying is I show up there with the card, they're not going to shoot me away. Well, I didn't say that. I'm like, well, what are you telling me then? Like, you're not being helpful at all.
And the thing is, like, thankfully his company that he works for is allowing people to take 4 hours of time to go get the shot, but you have to schedule it. So you kind of have to know when you're going. And we live with very compromised adults here, and Kevin and Mike are the last two, and then our whole household will be fully vaccinated.
Mike, by the way, got the email and he's scheduled for 10 o'clock.
He's got it's just Kevin didn't get it. They don't know why he didn't get it. So Kevin's plan now is to just, and I've heard other people say it too, so maybe it's completely fine and he'll get there and they'll be like, oh yeah, whatever. Let's show me your card where you got your first vaccine. And it'll be fine. That's what we're hoping. But all I can say is whoever does like the news that night might want to just keep some time open, because I told Kevin, just, ask politely. And then if you don't get anywhere, just ask to speak to another person. But, he just doesn't want to give that. Because what if you never get another email?
Well, no, I mean, I get it. I'm sure that they're not going to give me too much hassle.
And I understand.
But I can go boneless too. I mean, if they decide, that they're going to give me a hard time, like, no, you got to go. I'm like, no, I'm not moving. And if they try to move me, Fat Boy will go boneless.
Oh boy! And
they won't be able to move me if I go boneless.
Just give it a shot. I understand, like, there's like a problem getting the dosages or whatever because of the weather, but like clearly they have it because Michael got his email. So
yeah.
Anyway, we're hoping for the best. Keep us in your thoughts on Monday. Imagine Friday. We'll let you know what happened. But we'll, Mom and Dad got their second vaccine this past Monday and felt great all day Monday. And then Mom started with the fever and the chills through the night Monday night and was sick on Tuesday. But Dad was kind of weak. He just felt really weak. But then by Wednesday, they were both fine. So that's all good. We're on the right track to getting back to life. Right?
Hopefully.
Well, I just can't wait to not have to teach in a mask anymore.
That'd be great.
I'm sitting here right now talking, and I'm like, I've just been talking too much because now my throat's starting to. You can hear it; just gets all hoarse and scratchy. I hate it. And I wear a microphone, and I think because I wear the microphone at work, the kids think they even more don't have to really tune in and listen. I don't know what it is. They're just 5, and they can't be right in front of me, and they're at their seats with all of their possessions and Play-Doh and blocks and whatever else we've given them, coins this week. That's been really fun because they have a bag, of coins that I dished out, and they have to keep the same bag because, you can't share. And I'm like, when we're taking out the penny, because we're learning about the penny, only reach in the bag and take out the one coin that's brown. And half of them like turn the bag upside down and they're all over the floor. So there goes that. Like, I don't know if they picked up their own coin or someone else's coin because they didn't follow directions. So we just hand sanitize the crap out of them. Hopefully it's good enough. My kids know now we have a quarantine box for books and we have a quarantine box for manipulatives. And they go, where's the quarantine box? And it just amazes me that 5-year-olds know what that word means.
Yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of school, this will be the last I talk about that because no one really wants to listen. But Kevin was driving me to work this morning and thought that the word gym and the word gem were homophones. Do you know what homophone is?
That's where it sounds the same.
Yeah.
Right. Well, yeah. To me, she just said it, and it's the same word, the exact same word.
It's really not.
So, Jim's gym, meet Jim at the gym with the gyms.
No. So I had to do a whole lesson on what your mouth does when you say the I sound in gym and the E sound in gem and how your jaw drops down further. And he had no clue what I was talking about.
Yeah. And I don't know, maybe I got some sort of hearing deficiency because this actually stems back from, like, as long as we've been married, like, she thinks, I'm saying souffle wrong, but, I'm not.
You did just say it wrong.
Yeah, whatever.
But that's okay. But that's not a vowel sound that you're mishearing. That's you're putting stress on the wrong syllable in that word. But
yeah, I don't hear it. So
when here, that's either here or there. So our topic today, you ready?
Yep.
Who is your hero?
Right. And when we're reading through, potential things, this one stuck with me because tomorrow is March 6th. And the year we got married, right after we got married, March 6th, that's when my dad passed. And, shout out Pop. I miss you, Pop. And that was really probably my lowest moment was because I got the phone call like 4:00 in the morning.
Well, your family didn't live in the area.
No, they lived down in Hatteras.
They lived in Hatteras, and his dad had been sick and was at Norfolk General.
Yeah.
So we were the closest to him.
Mom had gone back to the island the night before because she had been there like a week, and then she just went back, and they were like, "No, he's not going to make it." So I went back up there, and we were waiting for everybody to show up, and it was me and Kelly, and honestly, I lost it. It was one of the few times I completely lost it, and but she was there, and that helped a lot. I can't even. To this day, you're my rock at that moment.
It's weird to think about. Like, we've been married 14 years,
mm-hmm.
and your dad's been gone 14 years.
Yeah.
Like, that was the first, as a couple, like, we were only married 3 weeks or something at the
mm-hmm.
time. The first, obviously big
mm-hmm.
thing we had to overcome or deal with.
Mm-hmm.
But I do have to say, though, your family deals with things in a lot of the same way that my family does, and that's through humor.
Yeah.
And so, of course, it was emotionally, as you lose a parent, it just is. But the sense of humor, I think, is what keeps everybody going there.
We were all like just in the room, and this whole thing was like they had the machines going, and they stopped the machines, but they were still reading stuff. So after a while, we're all just looking at the machines like, is he still going or whatever? Or is, not quite sure.
I mean, it was 45 minutes, half hour.
Longer than that. Yeah, it seemed like forever. And then the nurse comes in and she says, okay, folks, I just need to, do a little house cleaning here. You take all the time you need. And then we were like, I think it was my mom was like, well, is he still here with us? She's like, oh no, he's already passed. And everybody was like, well, Christ, let's just go there.
And it was kind of like everybody was waiting for the numbers to go all the way to zero, and they don't. Like,
apparently, they don't go to zero.
Yeah.
So it was just like,
it would have been nice to know that ahead of time.
Yeah. So everybody was like, oh, everybody was such on edge at that moment that was kind of like the relief, like, okay, we're good. And it was
We weren't good.
It's kind of a hilarious moment at the time, but I'm not doing a judging. You probably like, this asshole, what the hell? But you just have to know our family that this is totally 100% okay. And but Pop's my hero because there's a lot of stuff that me as a person I got from Pop. Just a lot of my ideals come from him. He was probably a bit more religious than I'll ever be, a lot more religious than I'll ever be, and that's probably our biggest difference. But as far as our stances on the politics, largely the same. I'm probably a bit more libertarian, definitely a lot more libertarian than he ever was. Yeah, I'm a little bit more hardcore libertarian than he
We've
ever
agreed
was.
we're not talking about that.
Yeah. So, taxation and stuff. Yeah. But anyway, like a lot of the stuff, like we get in the truck and the little Ranger, that to this day I love that truck. I wish I still had it, but we get in the truck and we drive around, forever. We'd have the pup with us. We had a little Chihuahua at the time, Tiny, and she loved to ride in the car. There's one thing I don't, with Tilly, she doesn't like riding in the car. I wish she did. I would love to drive around with my dog, but she doesn't like it. She doesn't like it at all. Anyway, we'd drive everywhere and we'd listen to the old WCMS and Paul Harvey and the music.
I know the country music is definitely your connection to your dad.
Yeah. He was George Jones. My dad loved George Jones. So George Jones would tear you up. George Jones would put a grown man on his knees. So
I obviously didn't know Kevin's dad for very long, but one of my favorite, there are a few favorite memories, but like we were at their house and you were getting ready to sit on the couch and the dog was there. What was, that wasn't Tiny.
No, it was not Tilly. What was that dog's name? Tessie, yeah. Chihuahua.
Another Chihuahua. And Tessie was sitting on the couch and she wouldn't move. And so Kevin's dad said, just sit down, she'll move. So Kevin goes over and he starts to sit down and then she didn't move.
Yeah.
And his dad starts yelling, you're going to kill my dog. And it was just so funny. Oh my God. It was
because I had to like scramble.
Because then he's like halfway down and he's trying to not to sit down. And it was really, really funny. That was one of my funniest.
Yeah, he thought it was hilarious. So, but yeah, that's my hero.
I mean, yeah, your dad, those are good heroes to have. I would have to probably say for me, my dad too, especially, I mean, my whole life. Dad's always been like life of the party. His sense of humor is just off the chain funny. And growing up, everyone wanted to be at our house. So we had the open door. Friends of mine, my brother and sister and I were just always at our house. And Dad just kept everybody entertained. And he's so laid back and like easygoing, but taught me a lot, obviously. A lot of good sense, not his sense of direction that he didn't teach me. But I will tell you, until I was an adult, I was married at the time. And I saw on YouTube, was it on YouTube? The Muppets, the Manamana song. And it blew my mind because I thought my dad made that song up. Because he would go around the house when I was a kid and he would sing it. And I would just think, oh, that's just this fun song Dad made up while he was cleaning or whatever. And no, it was from the Muppets. And then also, as an adult, a college student, I came home from school one day and I had a conversation with some people at school about grass. Not the kind you smoke, but the kind you grow in your yard. And somebody was complaining about having to cut the grass so much, whatever. And I said, what you should do is plant snapgrass. And they were like, snapgrass? Like, what's that? Well, it only grows up to like an inch and then the top of it snaps off and you can just like with a broom, brush it. You don't ever have to mow it. And they looked at me like I was a total idiot. And then I got home and I told my dad about it. And he was like, oh my God, like for years he had told me about snapgrass. And living with him and growing up, you would have thought I would have known that it was bullshit, but my bullshit meter wasn't very finely tuned at the time. So now I've got this one. So I'm like, I can see it coming. But Dad definitely as like a lifelong hero, but you too, honestly, as a hero to me.
Really?
Oh, 100%.
Why? I don't get that at all.
It's the complete lack of, I don't want to say lack. It's not a lack of anything. Your ability to put everybody else's needs ahead of your own. And I know that that's not always a good thing. But
that screwed me over.
But Kevin is definitely a selfless person. He doesn't need a lot of things. We were talking about like how, years ago I read the 5 love languages and we speak different love languages. But Kevin is a very affectionate person, which he says anybody else who knew him from before me wouldn't believe that. But just the fact that no matter what I need at any time of day or night, without a question, it could be the most ridiculous thing, you would do it.
Yeah, well,
there just aren't a lot of people that would completely just be like, not say, oh, you're a moron for needing that. Why do you need whatever at like 10:30 at night? I literally texted him. This happened this week. I had already gone to bed or whatever. I don't know. I was watching TV in the room and he got off work. I texted him. I'm like, hey, are you done with work already? He's like, yeah, it was about 8:30 at night. And I'm like, I really could go for like an ice cold Coke from Sonic. And his response was, I'm on it.
Yeah. Well,
no question. No like, oh, babe, come on. It's 8:30. I just got off work. I've been working all day. Please don't make me run out there. Just drink water. It's better for you.
Well, I should have done that. The water being better for, I should have done that.
I know, but I haven't been drinking soda as much anymore. But you just every now and then it's like, oh. So yeah, I mean that's
it'd be worse coming like bring me hard liquor.
Anyway, that's what I think.
Oh, thank you, baby. I mean, I always tell you that you're a hero to not just me, but it's obvious. Like you teachers, when you need to tell her how much you appreciate her.
Don't. No, because I don't work any harder than any other teacher I know.
Yeah, that's not even.
It is true.
Oh, it says the 2-time winner, the teacher of the year.
No, stop it. You fake it till you make it, and sometimes they believe you when you're faking it. So.
Well, I'm the king of make it up as you go along, and have it happen to be right. I freely admit that.
I don't want this to be like anything like that. So anyway, shout outs. We have some shout outs this week. So I want to start first with shouting out my mom. Today's her. I don't know if she would be mad if I told everybody how old she is today.
I think she's throwing
it's a milestone birthday. I'll just put it that way. Yeah?
Yeah, she'll
forgive me. She's my mom. Yeah. Today's her 75th birthday. Happy birthday, Mom. We love you, love you, love you. And we have cake as soon as we're done with this.
Bun cake. Half shout out to Nothing Bunt the Cake.
Nothing Bunt Cakes.
Yeah, they make a fantastic cake. They do like a little small cake, then they do like a 10-inch cake.
And not only that, but like friends of ours, Bobby, made some cupcakes. I heard.
Yeah.
You won't like them because they have coconut on them, but I sure will like them. Yeah. And I know Mom will love them. Yeah. So we've got that. And Kevin made a nice ribeye steak and baked potato for dinner. Cooked them on the grill outside in the freezing cold, but they were so good. Yeah. So shout out to Mom. Happy birthday. We love you.
Shout out.
All right. Shout out to Terry.
My cousin Terry, who is an awesome person. She takes care of her mom and everybody else around her, like a bunch of her in-laws. She takes care of just a lot of people, and she is having some issues, and she's in she had surgery today, and right now she came out of it and got the voicemail from my mom right before we came on that she made it through all right, and she's Of course, they're recovering in ICU, but that's just the way they do that.
We're thinking about her and sending tons and tons of
love
love
yeah,
her way.
yeah, she's great. She's great. Tina, when you go visit your mom, rub her head for me, and then rub your grandmama's head for me. So,
and then our last shout out for the week. Really, this is your shout out, so go for it.
Oh, this is for Troy and Ben. Just because you heard the story earlier, they without hesitation they came right out. And it was just great. Just you have to have people. And I have a few friends that I know that if I call them, people I haven't seen in years, if I call them, they're like, "Yeah, I'm gonna be right there. It's not a problem." And Troy is definitely one of those guys. And I'm sure Ben's going to be a fine gentleman because he's got the best parents to teach him how to be a fine man.
100%.
These are literally the best people.
And Molly too. She's awesome.
Molly's awesome too. Yeah. Yeah. But she wasn't there today. So she's awesome girl. Little side thing about Molly. She did freak me out right after we got married. She came over, Robin and Troy came over with the kids, and she was little at the time. She was there. I can't even remember how old she was, but we got in the pool, and then she latched on to me, and then she looks me dead in the face. She says, "When are you guys having kids?" And I'm like, "Nope."
Stranger danger.
I need an adult. So I was like, "Nope."
Although one of my very favorite wedding pictures was Molly.
Yeah, that was a really great picture.
I think she was maybe 7 at the time.
Yeah.
And it's a picture of like looking up the aisle at the church, and Kevin and I, of course, were at the front, and Molly had stepped out of the pew and was like in the aisle watching. It was just the sweetest picture. Mm. So.
Oh, and then Ben, the story, we'll tell the Ben story real quick. Ben was like,
you can tell the story of getting your ass handed to you.
Oh, yeah. Ben was maybe 6-7 years old at the time. We were over there having dinner, and he had found out that I'm like Star Wars. Like, who doesn't? Every nerd man boy loves Star Wars. He goes, "Oh, I heard you like Star Wars. That's great." And we start bantering back and forth about Star Wars. And he goes, "Do you want to have a lightsaber fight?" And I'm like, "Sure." So he comes back and he hands me a lightsaber, and I'm like, and I do my little bit trying to be all like, cool Darth Maul double blade, and then proceeds to like do Darth Maul shit, like just spinning around, like feet in the air, flips and spinning the thing, and then he starts attacking me. I'm like, Jesus Christ!
Again, Kevin was like, I need an adult.
I'm like trying to block and parry and run back, and I'm like, I need an adult. It was bad. Yeah, I would have been sliced up like a freaking salami or something. It was crazy. Pepperoni. It was like the Japanese guy on the old Channel 15. The salami.
Oh, the Jinsu knives.
Jinsu knives, yeah.
Yeah.
Crazy.
So, look, we've been on almost 50 minutes.
Oh, all right.
So thank you. If you're like sticking through this, thank you. This is really just our way to kind of like cap we promise we won't discuss it beforehand. Like we did the Who Is Your Hero tonight, but if you can think of a question you want to put out there.
Yeah.
And then we'll do that. And so now we've got the topics segment at the beginning and our conversations, and then we got shout outs, and I don't know what's going to happen this week.
Well, hopefully I get my shot or I get shot. You never know. I'll let you know how I get this. Apparently, and I think the theory that you came up with, I think, is right. That if you get the second shot, you either feel okay or you feel bad. And the theory is that if you feel all right, you probably would have been asymptomatic had you got COVID, which that makes a lot of sense to me.
It's just a theory. Honestly, I didn't read anything about that.
Yeah.
I just made it up.
No, it's not based on science. I'm not saying it's the science.
There's no scientific study. It's just something I thought might. But I also know that people who are taking who were really just knocked down for a while. So I don't know if that has anything to do with it or not, but who knows, Yeah. Take the shot, wear your mask. Yeah. Let's hope next year we can.
We'll laugh about it.
Yeah. No.
Yeah. Be safe, everybody, and we'll see you next week.
Yep. Bye, guys.
Bye.